existing, even before the regulations, lawyer, that Prof expects that be put in place to respond to this? Are there existing laws that can check this phenomenon of women being accused of witchcraft, lynched, losing their lives?
Yeah, there are existing laws, but I think that we need a specific legislation. As he said, we need to pass, I think, Witchcraft Acquisition Control Act. That is a specific problem that needs a specific legislation to curb it. And let me thank Prof for his work and TV3 support for throwing light on this. As FIDA, we are there to fight for women, and seeing Prof being so emotional and ready about this, I'm touched. I'm available for any legislation drafting or anything.
Wonderful.
To support.
Please, let's put our hands together for FIDA for this support.
Support this, yeah. But then we also have constitutional provisions that we can evoke to protect. We also have provisions in the Criminal Offences Act. Specifically, I think that Section 314A of the Criminal Offences Act of 1960, Act 229, it says that a person who sends to or receives at a place any other person, so those who are sending, those who are receiving, it's a chain. So those who send, those who receive at a place or any other person, or B, participate in or is concerned in a ritual or customary activity in respect of any other person with the purpose of subjecting the other person to a form of ritual or customary servitude, or a form of forced labor related to a customary ritual, commits a criminal offense and is liable to a term of imprisonment not less than 3 years.
Not less than 3 years.
Not less than 3 years. So I appreciate that there is a problem, and those camps are there trying to solve the problem in a way. But if you look at this act, those camps are clearly crime scenes. They are crime scenes. Now, that problem is a social protection problem. So the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, they need to rise up quickly with the social welfare. They have the national mandate to ensure that if a population or a part of our population is encountering violence or threat of violence and they need shelter, they have every right to ensure that we have a shelter for these women so that they can at least run to. And then that shelter is regulated properly. The ministry is supervising those that are in charge of those shelters. I mean, the Domestic Violence Secretariat, they have all the procedures and authorization and certification or whatever about those places that people can run to in case there is violence and other things. But those camps that we have, as we speak, they are crime scenes. And I think that, yeah, they need to be abolished immediately. The government need to establish proper shelters. And you see, the shelter comes with a lot of regulation. There will be psychologists there. They will go through that. As we speak, there isn't any objective analysis as to who a witch is. And even before the law, as we speak, we don't take spiritual things to court because a judge cannot ascertain what that is. So it has to do more of political will and understand that the population, a part of our population is being abused and violated, which is unconstitutional in part. So in summary, I would say that we have constitutional provisions. Article 15 and 17 talks about our rights should not be, violated. We should live in dignity. 17 is against discrimination. If you look at the women, majority are women. They are of a certain age, and other factors that the Prof spoke about. It could be even property that they are fighting over.
Absolutely.
And they will just accuse you. They have to just look at your face and say that you are.
Sometimes it depends on the role you play in the dream of someone.
Exactly.
I mean, if
so there is no objective analysis as to what really this is. So if I don't like you, I can start the rumor around town, and then the men will jump on you and throw you to wherever they are. So I think we should be serious about our citizens and show concern, and then we'll pass this particular act, and then the education will have to go down. So, as I said in summary, we have constitutional provisions that should be protecting. We also have international protocols and conventions as far as human rights are concerned, and our Criminal Offences Act. We also have provisions in it. Even the assault, we have criminal assault and battery. So there are laws that can currently protect, but as I said, we need a specific legislation.
So specific, please put your hands together for lawyer. This is very enlightening. The law cannot determine who a witch is, but then people are determining who a witch is by either looking at the person's face, how wealthy the person is, or the role the person is playing in someone's dream. If you are killing the person, you are a witch. If you are serving food, you are not. Imagine if you are giving the person money, you are not a witch. But if you are pouring water on the person, even lack of rainfall is as a result of someone. But the law is responsive to society, isn't it?
Yeah.
It reflects what's happening in society. How come that this is going on? Lawyer, we know it. It's an age-old criminal act.
Yes.
But the law has not responded to that, even with the existing laws that you talk about.
Yes.
How come we haven't prosecuted anybody?
Yes. And usually the law also has procedures. Somebody has to file a complaint. So what we have to do immediately is to get a group of volunteers that are willing to prosecute matters like that and support and advise and direct. That if, and you know, I wasn't capturing clearly the language of the lady that was interviewed. The monitor is far away from me. I couldn't read the translations,
right.
But I could gather that a group of men just came for her after she was accused.
Absolutely.
Yes, of that. And as the law has just cleared out, those who came, those who accused, those who captured, those who took, they are all in the chain.
I see.
So the domestic violence units will also come in because most of the accusers are family members. And whenever you are in a domestic relationship with somebody, you fall under the Domestic Violence Act. So the combination of the Domestic Violence Act as well as the Criminal Offences Act could be revoked to help these women. So if there are observers that are concerned, the Domestic Violence Act allow anybody with information of the crime to file a complaint. You don't need to be a member of the person's family. You don't need to know the person. But if you're observing a crime under the Domestic Violence Act, especially that is being perpetrated between family members who are in a domestic relationship, you can file a complaint about the crime, and then the police are allowed to investigate. I think that if we see some few prosecutions, it will calm down.
Well,
whilst we try to work on the specific legislation.
Wonderful.